Please, you need to help me. He's trying to kill me, please.
This former cult member must race against time just to save his grandmother's life while battling physical principalities and powers and the dark rulers of this world. And people of God, I am not even exaggerating. Welcome to Shina, a Nollywood movie that shows us our lived experiences in the form of art.
If you make any move, I go blow your skull.
The movie begins at exactly 11:48 p.m. in Lagos, a night before the governorship elections, and a night that Shina would never forget. He was speeding through the city, rushing his sick grandmother to the hospital. Grandma was in serious pain, crying, and already accepting her fate. But Shina refused to hear any of that. After his father disappeared at birth to go buy Pampers and never came back, and his own mother got murdered. Oh, Grandma, you are all that he has left to, so you are not going anywhere. They are almost at the hospital when, of course, our Yeye police wave him to stop. Stop what? Benny, if you don't leave the road.
Stop! Get right here, man. Shit!
Well, he finally arrived at one tired-looking private hospital, and the attending doctor, Dr. Asinobi, quickly jumped into action. Hey God, turn don't off. But thankfully, the power came back almost immediately. She digs into Mama's medical history from Shina and discovers that Mama had done a free colon screening before, which she brilliantly followed up with her own professional prescription of agbo. One morning, one night. Still, she had been fine now. Until now, because the symptoms Mama is showing bloody stool, pain, the works. They are giving cancer, but they will need to run some tests to confirm. Mama grabs Shina's hand with fear written all over her face. Not fear of death exactly, but the fear that she never got to enjoy the new Shina. Because yes, this man in front of you has a past. Cultism, he has done it. Drinking, he has done it. Whatever vice you can think of and name, Shina has tried it. But he left all of that behind. He reassures Mama that he's not going back. She believes him, but still finds the strength to warn him about bad friends. Well, she isn't even sitting down, but she knows what she is seeing. As she was wheeled away for the tests, Shina's friend, Ugo, the same one Mama never liked, probably why she said what she said, suddenly showed up. Then he goes to one corner to answer a flood of messages. One of them is from someone called AY, and the message simply reads, "Time's up," which gets him physically scared. But anyway, that's his problem, I beg, because Shina's own just put leg with her inside one trouser. The test and operation would cost a total of 4 million naira, with at least 1 million needed before they could even start anything. My God, where is he supposed to get that kind of money from? He's just a taxi driver, for God's sake. But Shina believes that when there's life, there's hope. So he rushes home to look for money. This man searched everywhere, drawers, bags, hidden corners, and after all that, he found 21k. 21,000 of Tinubu's finest Nigerian nairas. Yay, now that's all he and Mama had to their names. And that's partly because he had just paid 2 years of rent up front. The new plan, he needs to get that money back from Oga Landlord. Before leaving, he kissed his late mother's necklace for Luck. Sadly, Luck was clearly asleep. Even when Shina went on his knees, begging, the man still shut the door in his face without pity. By now, it was already past midnight, and the hospital MD was mounting pressure on Dr. Asinobi to discharge Mama if Shina didn't return within the next hour with the deposit. Meanwhile, Shina had arrived at a club to pick up Mr. Donald, a regular customer, when suddenly gunshots erupted everywhere. Omo, see AK-47s. The bouncers were the first to even disappear. I did tell you, everybody we want booga before. Begin tear Formula 1 steps that night. The place was being robbed, and not just random robbers. This was the same notorious gang that had terrorized Lagosians for years. Among the chaos was Donald, who had fallen and sprained his leg. Shina helped him to the car, but just then, one of the robbers pulled out, ready to finish Shina and Donald right there, before the other gang members suddenly pulled him away. The way Shina take match that accelerator, hey God. You go think say Dominic Toretto they learn work. Well, they got out of there barely alive, with limbs mostly intact, and honestly, That's a win. Then Oga landlord called. Apparently, Uncle had a change of heart and agreed to return the rent money. Why are these cash, Charlie? He drops Donald off and promises to pick him up for the airport later that day because Uncle wanted to jackba. Anyway, Shina was ready to head to the hospital after getting a call from Dr. Asinobi with the 100,000 naira check Donald just handed him, plus that 21k and the landlord's money. He could feel it. Grandma would be okay. And God, that's when these daughters of Jezebel came, asking him to carry them for the night. So instead of his hair, like Samson, you people want to cut his money, Abby? He rebuked them and zoomed off. Surely, he'd make it in time to the hospital, right? Rarao. Because waiting at the checkpoint ahead, at the very same checkpoint Shina had zoomed past earlier that night, was Officer Cletus. And of course, Officer Cletus remembered him. This time, there was no zooming past anybody. Despite Shina's desperate explanations, the officers were more interested in a bribe.
Kabiru, sir, give him the POS machine.
Things got worse when they spotted a dreaded Holy Hand sign tattoo of a feared cult group called the Saints on his arm and linked the cash on him to the nightclub robbery. Frustrated and running out of time, Shina snapped, fought the officers, and was eventually knocked unconscious. When Shina finally woke up in jail, he saw strange-looking men demanding that the police release him because Baba needed him. Baba Nibo. It can be Baba again. So, a little backstory. Do you remember that message Ugo got at the hospital? The one from AY that said, "Time's up"? That one that almost gave him a heart attack. Here's the full story. Ugo owed Baba Bankole, a feared underworld kingpin, the Ajigi Jaga of the street. And to save himself, he told them Shina had money to give them. And that's how Shina got dragged into Baba's world. He ultimately learned that Ugo was the secret leader of the robbery gang terrorizing Lagos. And since nothing happened in Lagos without Baba's approval, Baba Bankole had an arrangement with them. 80% of every robbery goes to him. How generous of you, Baba. But Ugo's crew had gone rogue, refusing to pay their cut. And to make it worse, they had the audacity to run an operation that very night without Ugo's knowledge or blessing. None of that mattered to Shina though. What shocked him the most was the fact that Ugo seriously believed that he would hand over Grandma's surgery money based on waiting bros. Alaye, if you know Pakwele, angry and betrayed, Shina immediately attacked Ugo. In the middle of the chaos, Bankole recognized Shina's saint's tattoo immediately and realized that he had once belonged to the cult, and somehow he escaped it alive, which left him with questions. Anyway, our Bankole suddenly switched moods and apologized to Shina, even allowing him to leave freely. But just as Shina was about to go, he stopped because as much as Ugo deserved everything coming to him, his wife didn't. His unborn child definitely didn't. They were innocent, and Shina, despite being lied to, endangered, and nearly killed by this man's greed, couldn't walk away knowing what would happen to them. So, Shina begged Baba to spare them, and surprisingly, he agreed. But, as you would expect, on one condition. Shina would have to scratch his back. In other words, he would have to run an errand for him. Simple. Now, Shina may be desperate, but he's not foolish. He quickly upgraded the negotiation terms. If he completed the errand, Baba must handle all of Grandma's hospital bills. Well, deal. And right on cue, as if to show exactly what kind of man Bankole was and what kind of world Shina had just agreed to do business with. And in, AY began to whistle one demonic tune. And before Shina could even process what was happening, they chopped off Ugo's fingers right in front of him, just to make one thing painfully clear. Cross Bankole, this is the kindest thing that happens to you. And as AY, who has now proudly renamed Shina to Shekbe, pushed him out for the errand, and with Shina gone, Bankole turned to a bleeding Ugo and learned the truth. The price Shina had paid to leave the cult was his mother. What? Now, the nature of the errand, nobody explained it. AY wasn't exactly the chatty type. He directed Shina to drive to a particular house, stepped out of the car, and then he whistled that same wicked tune and disappeared. Wait, is this a plane? Shina was already disturbed, but things became even worse when AY took too long to return. To calm himself down, he looked through old photos of his ex, Ronke, and started questioning the choices he had been making lately, because truthfully, he was slipping back into the same darkness he once escaped. And just then, he noticed something terrifying. AY had left his gun in the backseat. Just wonderful. As if the night wasn't already stressful enough. And right at that moment, a terrified man suddenly ran towards Shina's car window, begging for help. Please help me. He wants to kill me. Pew! The man was shot dead by AY. Jehovah Jireh. Shina was badly shaking up. AY immediately ordered him to drive off, but Shina refused, and even with a gun pointed directly at him, he still demanded answers. Why kill the man? What exactly was going on? But AY didn't care about explanations. He simply threatened to kill Shina too. That was when Shina grabbed the gun he had found earlier and pointed it at AY. For a moment, he hesitated, but eventually, he pulled the trigger. Oh, Chim, this thing was empty. The whole thing had been a twisted test arranged by Baba Bankole to see whether Shina was capable of killing for him. And sadly, the fact that he pulled the trigger was answer enough. The police sirens could be heard, and that was the only reason Shina drove away. The guilt followed him. He couldn't stop thinking about the dead man, and even if AY pulled the trigger, Shina still felt responsible somehow. Then Dr. Asanobi called with good news. Grandma's hospital bills had been taken care of by someone. She was going into surgery right now, and somehow that only made Shina feel worse. Did somebody really have to die just so Grandma could live? That question haunted him deeply. He even had nightmares while trying to sleep at the hospital right after Grandma's surgery. The day had broken fully. Grandma was fine. No cancer. Oof. What it had been though was abnormal growths in her colon, with every single one of them removed cleanly. Mama was already awake, already praising God with the energy of a woman who had just been given a second chance at life. But, Shina, Nibolotiro hospital, How did you pay for the hospital bills, Shina? Gang. Dr. Asinobi, who understood Yoruba perfectly and was approximately 2 seconds away from answering, got caught off as Shina jumped in first with a lie so smooth it deserved an award of its own. This guy said it was the government. Yeah, right. Mama, satisfied though, nodded and supposed that it must be that young, promising gubernatorial aspirant, Mrs. Aliatanda, the one with everybody's votes, the one people finally believed was going to sweep the old corrupt politicians out of office. And that's when the news broke. Mrs. Aliatanda had been assassinated that morning. And not just her campaign manager, Victor Osaritin. And guess who Victor was engaged to? Yup, Dr. Asinobi. Bruh, this woman's entire soul left her body instantly. Meanwhile, Shina too was drowning inside his own guilt because unlike everybody else watching the news in confusion, he knew something. Maybe not everything, but enough to make his stomach twist. Regret, shame, fear, all of it was sitting on his chest. And just then, Baba Bankole called. Baba calmly informed him that their business relationship was only getting started. Then he added a warning. If Shina ever opened his mouth about anything he saw, the next event he would attend would be Mama's funeral. After the call, Shina picked up a newspaper and saw Bankole photographed alongside prominent figures, including the sitting governor. He finally understood the weight of what he was tangled in. It had been one catastrophic decision after another, and if Shina was being honest with himself, and he was, brutally so, it all traced back to this stupid tattoo on his hand, and to God who made him. He tried to wash it off, and look, the epitome of bad decisions himself just walked in. Apparently he was let go, and so was his family, but his gang members, well, they all got buried alive. But to hell with them. He grabbed him by the neck. Do you know what you cost me? Shina asked angrily, because this snake knowingly dragged him into a complete mess, because he knew Shina would agree to Baba's deal. He knew Shina would never allow them kill his pregnant wife. He knew that Shina would negotiate for Mama's surgery. This guy had literally planned around Shina's kindness. What a sick human being. He had the effortry to demand something that I, or even Shina, refused to care about. As long as he remains dead to us, we are good. Returning to Mama's hospital room, Shina met an unexpected but pleasant surprise. Ronke, Mama had called her. Their reunion was awkward in that we still love each other, but life is wicked kind of way. You could feel the unfinished emotions, floating tension, but the good kind. Later, as Shina walked Ronke outside, and she opened up honestly, she figured out he had been keeping her away from the saint since he left, and that was the real reason for the breakup. The person who paid the price was his mother. She understood. She hoped they could find their way back. He smiled, but wouldn't risk it. Loving him was beginning to look like a health hazard. So she simply smiled at him and walked away. He went home to grab some things when he overheard neighbors listening to a radio announcement urging anyone with credible information about Mrs. Ali Atanda's assassination to please come forward. And immediately, that guilt came rushing forward, pressing his neck. I'm talking confess, 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 that kind of thing. Shina was even about to fall back to his old habit of drowning pain with alcohol when he paused and looked up at the sky instead. Like, God, Mom, either one of you, whoever is available right now, I could use some direction. He dialed the number from memory, but when the call connected, he couldn't speak. Fear held his throat hostage. So instead, Shina did the only thing broken people sometimes know how to do. Pretend that everything is normal, but it wasn't easy. Everywhere he turned, reminders of Mrs. Ali Atanda's death followed him around. People were already sharing flyers for her candlelight procession while he drove Mr. Donald to the airport. Even Donald himself couldn't stop talking about the tragedy. After dropping Donald off, Ugo kept blowing up his phone with calls and messages saying he was coming to meet him at the airport. Oga, abege, just rest you. Overwhelmed by guilt and tempted to drink again, Shina finally chose to do the right thing. He called the police tip line and named Bamidele Bankole as the mastermind behind Mrs. Ali Atanda's assassination. The officer, on the other end, told him to stay exactly where he was, that an agent was coming to him. The detective arrived and got straight to business. Now, given the high profiles involved, Shina would have to be taken to a safe house immediately. He even mentioned that there will be compensation for the information provided, which isn't why he was doing this. But sure, there's money, I will take it now. He abandoned his taxi, got into the detective's car. As they drove, the road became more isolated and quiet. Too quiet. Then suddenly, the detective stopped and said he wanted to take a piss. I don't understand. Piss, BT Bao. Lonoi, right now? Okay now. When he returned, the radio came up and the voice that spoke was none other than Mrs. Ali Atanda's voice. Shina's face lit up instantly. The woman survived for the first time in hours. Genuine relief washed over him. But then, the detective slips up and calls Shina Shekbe. Yeah, you know who called him that name last? AY. Meaning that this guy works for Bankole, and knowing he had messed up, he dragged Shina to the back of the car, ready to blow his head off. This guy, generous though in the most terrifying way, told him he could say his last prayers. So, Shina prayed, genuinely, for Mama, for Ronke, for every moment he couldn't take back, every turn that had led him here, staring death in the face. And out of nowhere, Ugo appeared and smashed something across the Oga's head from behind. It turns out this stubborn man had followed Shina from the airport all along, despite being ignored. As the detective struggled and reached for his gun, bystanders who had witnessed the commotion quickly rushed in and restrained him before things escalated again. Bamidele Bankole and every last one of his henchmen were arrested.
Lock his ass up! Lock his ass up! You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
To answer the question, how did Mrs. Ali Atanda survive? Yes, how? Now, in the final seconds before AY pulled the trigger, Victor Osaretin threw himself at AY, disrupting the shot just enough, and the bullet grazed Mrs. Ali Atanda's head instead of ending her life. She survived. But sadly, that final act of bravery cost him his own life. Mrs. Ali Atanda was deeply grateful to him and promised to continue fighting for a better state and a better Nigeria. The citizens were overjoyed that she survived the assassination attempt, but for Dr. Asinobi, it was a different kind of emptiness for her, but still relieved that her fiancé, Osaretin, did a little good in his last moments on earth. The movie then ends with Shina staring up at the sky once again. This time, there was peace in his eyes. Whether it was God or his mother watching over him, he didn't know, but whoever came through for him that night, he was grateful. And with that, guys, we've reached the end of Shina, directed by Muyiwa Adesokun and Lillian, Carmen, Ike-Okoro, and still streaming on Netflix. Definitely let us know if you're checking this one out. This is Jelly Baba signing off. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss a worthy recap. And until next time, Unworthy of Recap.